Yeah, Jaden Ivey got released by the Chicago Bulls simply because he's not as talented as Kyrie Irving. Jaden Ivey, a young basketball player, recently had some anti-LGBTQ plus comments on his Instagram live that eventually got him waived. And if you remember a few years back, Kyrie Irving, he posted a link to a documentary with anti-Semitic tropes in it. He was suspended, I believe, 5 games and fined as well, but not released because Kyrie Irving puts butts in seats. He has a better layup package and he gets people in the arena. Because I think people are trying to ascribe some morality to this, which the NBA or most corporations has none. The end goal is always the bottom line. Jaden Ivey is saying comments that offends a certain population. That population buys tickets. Jaden Ivey, in that regard, the juice is not worth the squeeze in regard to kind of riding out this controversy with Jaden Ivey, as opposed to like the Kyrie Irving situation. He's a more exciting, more talented player. He brings people into the stands. I think that's truly just the difference between these two situations is like talent. There's probably also differences like the affected groups, the commentary made about certain groups. Jaden Ivey, a talented basketball player in his own right. You know, he made it to the league. He was a lottery pick, but had a tough childhood. He self-admittedly went through abuse. He said he didn't really feel loved growing up, and what happens to you as a kid kind of informs how you act as an adult. But it doesn't really excuse it. So if you're making comments that are just messing up the bread, your corporate employer, you know, whether it's working for Apple or the Chicago Bulls, is gonna let you go if you're impacting the bottom line, and that's the reality we live in. It was interesting. A couple comments he made. He was like he called out like Steph Curry and LeBron James and I think Michael Jordan for like not being good Christians, but then he's on video admitting that he abused his wife. You know, isn't that Matthew 7:5, I believe, where it says don't like first remove the speck no, don't remove the speck from your brother's eye before removing the plank or the log from your own eye. And it calls out hypocrisy, which I don't like. I don't like finger wagging like, Steph Curry's not a good Christian. Oh, but I beat my wife. Like, come on, bro. Like, you gotta call it even. And then another thing I thought was kind of incongruent, where it's like, why is it always when it comes to sin, people are always tripping on like LGBTQ or like pride and stuff, and they're like, oh, that's sinful. But the NBA has rampant adultery. It has rampant gambling ads. Every commercial is a gambling ad. Isn't gambling greed and poor stewardship? Isn't that one of the most fastest growing addictions and sapping away at the soul and the wallets of particularly young men in this country? But he had no comments on that. Just oh gay, I'm scared of it. Just two women holding hands. You know, so it's just like it's just funny what people pick and choose. Um, but it like it's his right to say whatever he wants to say, and it's the Chicago Bulls' right to be a profitable, safe, soulless corporate entity. Um, but yeah, if Jaden Ivey's going through something, which I think he is, in my personal opinion, I I hope he utilizes the resources he has best as possible, whether it's through his faith or professionally or medication, whatever combination of things, allow him to be happy and healthy because he's a young player. Again, I think he's talented, not as talented as Kyrie, obviously, but um, I personally don't think he should be blackballed from the entire league for these comments. Specifically considering that we have like dudes that like actually beat up their wives. Well, I mean, he kind of admitted to doing that, or maybe it was a emotional abuse. I don't know. He just said abuse, so it may not have been physical abuse. But like, yeah, there's court convicted abusers playing in the NBA right now. So I'm not gonna be too hard on seeing Jaden Ivey on an NBA roster. But yep, that's it for me today. Y'all be easy.